And now, your motivational quote of the day. It is important to wash your sex toys when you're done using them. And that is why the Catholic Church initiated the practice of baptism. Peace be with you. And also with you. What's up, weirdos? My name's Scott. My pronouns are thee, thy, and thou. I identify as platypi opossum. Not always at the same time, but sometimes. And please don't dead name me. That sounds scary. And today, yes, I want to talk about the new hollow ground, Hinderer ECLIPSE. I apologize about my voice today, guys. I feel like absolute shit. I was planning on unboxing this knife yesterday when I got it, but then I woke up yesterday morning with a really bad, I don't know what the fuck's going on. My wife was sick for a while. She did not have COVID, but right when she started getting better, I started getting sick. So I apologize about my voice, but I think that this is very, very, very important for everyone to see right now. So why do I have the ECLIPSE here? Why do I have the Evo Typhoon here? Well, okay, I'm going to start at the beginning just because I want to make sure everybody hears this, and I know nobody's going to watch this video for more than 3 or 4 minutes, so I don't want anybody to just watch the first 2 or 3 minutes of the video and then run off and fly off the handle and freak the fuck out. And I mean, although I don't know why anybody would ever do that, but just in case, I'm going to link a video from Rick Hinderer on in the description of this video, talking about his new hollow grind, which he released 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Or announced that he was going to release 2 weeks ago, something like that. And then he did drop them. I was able to get in on that drop. I was very, very excited. But I want to make sure that everybody watches that video. So I'm going to link that video and that video only in the description to this video so that nobody gets confused, nobody goes to the wrong place. Everybody who is planning on buying a hollow ground ECLIPSE needs to watch that video. I don't care if you watch this video. Please go watch that video. It's fucking important. Okay, so the reason that I have the Evo Typhoon out here is because I want to demonstrate something. It's very, very important. I'm not going to talk about anything with this knife until after I talk about this. So as you can see, this is a compound ground blade. Okay, you have a hollow grind here, you have a flat grind here. I will try my best to show you guys the difference here for those of you who do not already know. If you want to fast forward through the first couple of minutes of this, that's fantastic if you already know this, but for those of you who don't, you can see here that the tip is a flat grind, okay? It's a flat, it's just a belt going straight over the steel, okay? So it's a flat grind. It's completely flat. You can't see any curvature of it whatsoever. The center or the middle of the knife here is called a hollow grind. I'm going to try to do my best to give you kind of like a visual of what's going on here, but instead of a completely flat belt to grind this blade, they used it on a wheel, a kind of like either a larger or a smaller wheel, depending on how aggressive of a hollow grind you want. I'm trying to show you here straight down the blade. You can see in the back here how it kind of scoops up a little bit. If you're able to see that, that's fantastic. If not, I will do my best to try to figure out a way to show you guys on a future video. So you can see here that a hollow grind, it kind of goes, that's the best way to show you on camera. A flat grind is going to be like this. A hollow ground, like if this is the blade, a hollow grind is going to kind of be scooped a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry, scooped this way a little bit. So it's going to be a concave grind, not a convex grind. Concave, okay? So that's really important because Rick Hinderer decided to release a hollow ground slicer ECLIPSE, which I was very, very excited about. It's going to be a much thinner blade stock than you normally get on a Rick Hinderer knife such as this. I'm going to show you my XM18 3.5 inch, just to kind of show you how thick these blades can be. They're very, very robust, as Metal Complex says. Very thick blade stock. I believe these are 165 thousandths. And you've got a flat grind, which will bring you down to a relatively narrow cutting edge. However, using the hollow grind allows you to take out more material on your way down towards the edge, so it makes for a much, much thinner cutting edge, as you can see compared to these two knives. If you're able to see those, I don't have the right view of my camera. I apologize. I'm working on that. But if you can see the thickness here, the difference between these, now I'm not talking about blade stock. I'm talking about down at the edge. So the Evo Typhoon is going to have a much thinner edge down at the edge, a much thinner blade stock down at the edge than the XM18 is going to have, which I just shaped off some of my fingernail with. So let me get rid of this. So now that I've showed you what an actual hollow ground looks like, how it gets much thinner at the edge, this is very important to look at because as you can see on the hollow ground slicer, I want to make one thing very, very clear. I absolutely love this knife. I have no problems with it whatsoever. I was a little concerned when I first got it, just by the way that it looked and the way that it felt. I'll explain that in just a minute here. But I absolutely love the ergonomics on this knife. So I'll get into that a little bit later. I want to talk about this first. So as you can see here, I'm kind of showing you every angle that I can on this knife. And you cannot see, you cannot appreciate with the naked eye a hollow in this blade. It looks like a flat grind. You can't even feel the material kind of ramping up at all or down towards the tip. This feels and looks like a flat grind. So I was a little confused. I thought maybe Rick was taking a lot of liberties with the word hollow, or maybe hollow didn't mean what he think it thought. So what he thought it meant. I'm so fucking stupid. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm like, well, I know he made a video about this, so let me go take a look. And at first he just mentioned that, what a hollow grind is and how it works and why you take out more material and this, that, and the other. So I was a little nervous towards the end of the video, but at the end of the video he did say he used a very, very, very shallow hollow grind, meaning the size of the wheel was much, much bigger than you would normally use for a hollow grind. But as you can see on these two knives, this is a standard Spanto blade on my XM18, the blue one. And then on my JG10, this is the Eclipse. So you can see the edges here are completely different. Is this an aggressive, visible, easy to feel hollow grind? No, it's not. A lot of people are going to have a problem with that, I feel like. I was nervous about it when I first got it. I understand why Rick did this. So again, as you can see, you've got the very thick blade on the XM18, and you've got the thinner blade down at the edge on the Hinderer Eclipse. Now the blade stocks are relatively the same. I will measure them just on the camera just so you guys can see, because it's kind of hard. I don't feel like it's easy to tell different. I can't do this. I can't put two things together and I'm like, yep, they're the same thickness. Especially because this has a swedge ground all the way down to the butt of the blade. So I just want to be sure here. So this is, 165 thousandths, and this is 165 thousandths. So yes, these are both exactly the same blade stock thickness, but as you can see, the Hinderer slicer does, the Hinderer hollow ground slicer does get much thinner at the edge than the XM18 does. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was clear on that, because I know that everybody has pretty much bought out the first run. I got this one out of that run. But I know he's going to make more. And I don't want people to run to the internet and be like, Hinderer is selling a hollow ground knife that isn't hollow ground. That's not true. It's not hollow ground in your opinion, maybe, and you're upset about the knife, and that's fine. But Rick Hinderer is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. You cannot put expectations on someone to make something exactly the way that you like it. He did make, technically, a hollow ground blade. He likes a little more density down at the cutting edge, so he didn't do a very aggressive hollow grind. I'm not going to knock him for that. I know there's a lot of people out there that like the more hollow, more aggressive hollow grinds. I'm one of them. I really love this grind. I love the grind lines. I love everything about this. Do I love how he did the hollow grind on this? Not at all. Does it make me mad about buying this knife? No, it does not. I got everything else that I wanted on this. I've wanted a JG10 and working finish Hinderer since I started collecting, but I haven't seen the right model in the right configuration that I wanted at the time. I've wanted an Eclipse since I started collecting. I saw this one. It's all working finish. It's a JG10 scale, which is going to keep me happy until I get what I want. I'm not going to tell you what that is because this is going to be an epic fucking build. It's going to look amazing, in my opinion. But that's going to be a little bit down the road. I'm going to just molest this one for a while and enjoy her. I will say I really, really fucking like this knife. But I'll get into that towards the end of this video. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody watches that Hinderer video, the video that Rick Hinderer did explaining his hollow grind, what a hollow grind is, and why he did his the way that he did his. He wanted a little bit more density down at the edge. Do I feel like that's necessary? No. Not for the vast majority of the people buying these knives. Do they use them? Do they use them hard? Yes. Are they trying to, I don't know, pry open car trunks and, pry apart seized brakes or something like that with it? I don't. If you are, you're an idiot. I'll say that. I mean, I feel comfortable saying that. If you buy a $425 knife and then try to use it to pry apart a set of seized brakes, you shouldn't buy. I'm not going to say that. You can do whatever the fuck you want with the knife that you buy. You can do whatever the fuck you want with the knife that you buy. I just wouldn't do that. That's all I'm going to say. As my opinion, me personally, moi. Not you. So yeah. Okay. I think I've gilded that lily quite enough. So I'm done talking about that part. I will go over the specs on the knife, everything like that. This is kind of like my version of a first impression after I've already looked at the knife. Like I said, I'm sorry guys. I got this yesterday. I felt like shit. You would not have enjoyed a video that I did yesterday, trust me. I basically would have slept through the whole thing. And I'm not going to wait 24 hours to open this. I don't think anybody out there would. So I apologize, but these are my first impressions. They're still fresh in my head. I absolutely love this knife. And I'm going to go ahead and say this right off the bat. I like this more than I like my 18. I do. I like the way they shape the handle on this guy. I like the ergonomics of it. I like the aesthetic of it better. I like this dip up here. The jimping's pretty much the same. There's a little bit more of a ramp here. This is more kind of like a, I almost want to say kind of like a faux harpoon point maybe, like, because he's got like a clip here, which is actually a really good thumb position. A lot of good aggressive tip cutting on this guy. But just the way they shape the handle on this guy, I like it a little bit more. I don't mind the fact that this one doesn't have a choil. That actually gives this knife a little bit more blade length. Not that that matters to me. I don't give a fuck about blade length. Anything over 3 inches, you're good. Anything over 2.5 inches, you're good. I mean, what else are you gonna... again, if you're somebody that goes out in the woods and is out there for 8, 10, 12 hours a day and you're dealing with like trees and roots and shit like that, okay, you're gonna need a knife like this to get through that. But not a lot of people live that kind of life. That is not everyone's truth. So anyway, I do enjoy this so far more than I like my 18 for sure, which is a comparably sized knife. I will, however, say I did email Hinderer yesterday and asked, or I didn't email them, I sent them a DM on Instagram. I said, is there ever any chance of an XL Eclipse? Because I would love that. Yes, this is a full-size knife. But you guys know that my favorite Hinderer is and will always be the XM24. This guy is just such a fucking beast, and I absolutely love it. I love this knife. I love it a lot. Actually, I'm an idiot. So I bought the bronze filler tab and pocket clip for this guy, and I got Stonewash Bronze instead of Battle Bronze. I'm so mad at myself. So I'm gonna order these, and then I'll probably end up selling these. So anyway, back to the Eclipse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.25 inches overall, with what looks like appears to be about a 3.5-inch blade with a 3.25-inch cutting edge. You do have a hollow ground blade, a full hollow ground blade almost, except for just this little triangle right here. This is their slicer grind. I've wanted to use their slicer grind as well, but when I heard that he was coming out with a hollow ground slicer grind, super duper excited. I opened it up, I'm like, what the fuck, this is a flat grind. But again, it's not really a flat grind, it just kind of appears to be one. It is much, much thinner at the cutting edge than any other hinderer I have ever seen. I'll say that. You've got the H here, which symbolizes, I don't know if you can see that or not, sometimes if it's reflective you can't see it at all, but that's the H symbolizing that this is a hollow ground knife, as he does with like his fatties and his slims and stuff like that. You have the Hinderer logo there. You've got a flat that comes out to about 50% the length of the blade, and then you have a swedge that pretty much starts all the way at the top and comes down to about 75-80% the length of the blade. The handle here is 4.75 inches overall. This is obviously a JG10 factory scale. You have a titanium liner underneath that, which obviously fits exactly to the shape of the handle. And then you have a titanium lock side on this side with a pressed or stamped titanium pocket clip, stamped and bent. You've also got your over travel stop / steel lock bar insert there, which there is an over travel stop on here, although there is a Hinderer's over travel stop right here. So you've got two different over travel stops as backup there. Obviously you've got the filler tab here, you screw in with just Phillips head screws, then you've got your proprietary lock side bit there, or I don't know, whatever you call it, socket. And obviously the flathead screw here for the pivot. Big finger guard here. Now, as Metal Complexes always clarifies, this is meant first as a finger guard. So, you know, when it comes back into the handle and you've got the flipper tab up here and everybody's, oh, it's all pokey and this, that, and the other, it was designed as the finger guard first. So that's why he didn't really care that much about the shape of it when it's in the flipper tab configuration. I really love this knife, the ergonomics of it, how comfortable it is. It's absolutely comfortable. I don't feel any hot spot with the pocket clip. Yes, it's a little short in my hand, but I have very, very large hands. I wouldn't say that I have XL size hands. I would say I have at least 2 XL size hands. So yes, it's a decent size handle. It will not, be something that I will be like batoning with or anything like that. But again, I never plan on using this knife that hard. If I end up in a situation where I do end up having to use it that hard, do I trust it? Of course I do. But this is an expensive knife. It's more of a pride piece in my collection than something that I would use for hard use. I will absolutely use it though. S45VN blade steel, and I just absolutely love the working finish. I mean, you can see here, it's I don't know exactly what to say here. Like flawlessly consistent or consistently flawed. It's perfectly consistent across the blade. So these just look like little tiny dings and scratches, and you've got a darker matte finish there. So it's going to hide a lot of scratches and wear. I think there's already a scratch right here, but you can barely see it. So I love his working finish. Anything that I can get in working finish, I will get in working finish. This guy came perfectly centered, as you can see. And just the flipper tab is effortless. The D10 on this guy is tuned perfectly. I shouldn't say that. I did have to loosen it up just a little bit to be able to kind of reverse flick it. But other than that, it's perfect. No left, right, up or down blade play at all. This guy locks up absolutely solid. And as you can see here, it's got about a 35% lockup. Let me see if I've got my tape here. I don't normally do this, but people have been having issues with hinderers lately, so I'm just going to right on the tip, right on my tape here. It's not a wooden block. I'm not going to hurt anything, but yeah, that's not going anywhere. This guy is absolutely 100% solid, and it's such a nice knife. I love the G10. I was thinking about dyeing it, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it alone, but I do have definite plans for this knife, for sure. I'm really excited about it. But please, if you are planning on getting this knife, or if you've already bought one and you're upset about it, please go watch the video that I'm gonna link on this video, where Rick Hinderer discusses his hollow ground blade, why he did it the way he did it, and what a hollow grind means. I think it was a really well done video for him. There's mixed feelings about Rick Hinderer in the community. Do I believe that he makes some of the best quality knives in the country? Yes, I do. Is he an asshole? I don't know the answer to that question. He's done things that would make people think that he was an asshole, but the thing about life is perspective. Everybody always says everything in life is how you perceive it. That's not necessarily true, unfortunately, anymore. A lot of times life is the way they want you to perceive it, and you just think that you're perceiving it that way. So if you haven't been asking questions in your life, please do so. Please start doing that. I'd really appreciate it. This world's fucked enough. Okay. I think that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And stay up, weirdos. Take it easy.